Hey King, thanks for clicking on the video. Today I want to start a bit of a series going into greater detail on what a lolcow truly is. The more you look into the people who have been dubbed as lolcows, the more you start to notice patterns in their behaviors. Many lolcows have similar traits that isolated on their own may not make them a lolcow, but when you add all these traits together and see how often they crop up when zooming out and looking at lolcows as a group, it becomes apparent that these traits may play a role or at the very least make someone more susceptible to becoming a lolcow. Now I do want to mention another series by a creator named Biff the Wolfman. The title of his series is Anatomy of a Lolcow, which funnily enough was the name I was going to use for my series when I was first cooking up this idea in my head. But his series does something similar to mine, but it's a bit more focused on an individual lolcow in each episode, and the traits he looks at are a bit more general. I do highly recommend you check out his series as it is very well done, but mine is going to do almost the exact opposite, where I'm going to be looking at a very specific trait across a lot of different lolcows. And so to introduce the first trait I've decided to take a look at, it is bad teeth. Bad hygiene in general is very common for a lot of lolcows, but in particular I've noticed that many lolcows have horrible teeth, with them rotting straight out of their heads most of the time. The reasons for this tend to vary depending on what lolcow you are looking at, but it is an oddly consistent trait. I'll give you a quick warning here that we will be seeing some close-up shots of rotting teeth, so do keep that in mind as we proceed. The first lolcow I want to take a look at is King Cobra JFS, as his bad teeth is quite possibly one of his most known attributes, with him making entire videos or him being literally paid by the fans to brush his teeth.
I brush my teeth. 1 second. Got some Crest 3D white. Woohoo. Yeah, I gotta brush my teeth more. Holy shit. Yeehaw. Woohoo, goddamn. Brushing my teeth with some Crest 3D white. Not a sponsor.
I find it insane how he ends up in so much pain from brushing his teeth. It's just a testament to how bad he's allowed it to get. And trust me, it is significantly worse today than it was in that clip that I played, because that clip was from 4 years ago, and spoilers, he didn't start brushing his teeth more. Cobra has a lot of things working against his oral hygiene, such as excessive sugar intake from his food and drink combos, along with just guzzling down alcohol and energy drinks all day. Cobra also is a connoisseur of tobacco, smoking all kinds of cigarettes, cigars, he enjoys loading his pipe regularly, and he's also a big fan of chewing tobacco, which for the health of your teeth may be the worst one to indulge in. He also takes frequent trips to Colorado, as he says, which is very clever code for smoking weed, which yes, is bad for your teeth, but quite possibly the biggest thing causing Cobra's horrid teeth is his oppositional defiance disorder, or ODD. Now look, I'm not here to shame anyone for having a mental disorder. These things can be very difficult for someone to deal with, but my god, ODD sounds like the most frustrating thing to deal with as a parent, because what ODD is defined as is a pattern of angry/irritable mood, argumentative/defiant behavior, or vindictiveness, which is usually directed towards peers, parents, teachers, and other figures of authority. So basically, you're just a bratty child times 1,000, but forever. Cobra's ODD at a very young age got directed towards his father, Clint, and all of his rules, going as far as to saying to his father on Cobra's 18th birthday that he no longer had to listen to him anymore because Cobra was now an adult. Besides that, he immediately took up the aforementioned smoking and drinking, along with many other drugs. Even though Cobra himself didn't wait for 21 to use that stuff, he is very gung-ho about letting everyone know that alcohol is for 21 and up tubes whenever he has an alcoholic beverage in one of his videos, because it's definitely worth the wait. But growing up, Clint had many rules for Cobra, things like showering, keeping his room clean, and worst of all, brushing his teeth. These are all things that Cobra hated growing up, but it seems that he has a particular aversion to brushing his teeth. I say this because, at least from my short list, Cobra has somewhat grown to take care of the other things. I mean, he was quite literally sponsored by a soap company, and he has cleaned his apartments before. I do want to be clear, I'm not trying to say that he keeps up on these things regularly. His living spaces are often very messy, and there are a lot of examples of him not showering and wearing the same clothes for weeks at a time. But he will eventually clean up a bit and take a shower on his own, but he simply will not brush his teeth. This could be due to multiple reasons. Obviously, it clearly causes him a lot of pain, so he probably doesn't really want to deal with that. He has also expressed some nihilism when it comes to his teeth, saying that they're already too far gone, so what's the point? But I do think there is another reason that could perhaps have something to do with his autism. Now, I'm not trying to be some armchair psychologist here, but it is fairly common for people who have autism to have an aversion to certain sensations, textures, noises, and whatnot. So I would not be surprised in the slightest if when Cobra was young, before his teeth got so bad, he just had a strong aversion to the feeling of brushing his teeth. I say this because even though the idea of him letting his teeth rot just because he's that defiant against Clint, who made him brush his teeth as a kid, is pretty funny, I also think it just doesn't make a lot of sense because ODD is something that a lot of people not necessarily grow out of, but manage much better as they get older. But I suppose Josh is a bit of a unique case in a lot of ways when it comes to his behavior, so maybe he does suffer his oral woes due to the ODD. But ultimately, it is something that I hope he can work out, which at this point will likely entail him getting his teeth pulled and replaced with dentures, but we will just have to wait and see what happens. The next Lolcow's teeth we are going to discuss is none other than Tony Chase. Just like Cobra, Tony's teeth are one of his most defining features due to how bad they are, especially his front few teeth. Now, there's a bit of a conspiracy theory that Tony uses hard drugs such as meth, which is the reason that it seems his front few teeth are the most affected by the rot, as this rot is typical for individuals that use such substances. However, that narrative is completely false. See, for many years, Tony's been harassed by the United States government, who sent a satellite into space with the explicit purpose of using a laser to burn Tony and choke his cat. From here, we're going to take a look at one of Tony's most popular videos on his channel where he explains the situation with his teeth. So take it away, Tony.
How you guys doing? This is very important in reference to factuality of this country, and which people are the legal highest ranking people in this country. Put my ranking on public television of who I am and who my parents are. This government satellite man is burning my mouth, making me buy cigarettes, and then burning my mouth after I buy cigarettes. I need to move to another city and state.
So beyond the burning of his teeth, the satellite man also controls him to an extent, forcing him to use tobacco, which is obviously not good for his teeth. I'll explain a little bit about why the government wants to destroy Tony's teeth so bad, just because he doesn't go into full detail in this video. So besides Tony outranking them, he is also not of our race. See, Tony is supposed to be 8 feet tall with a massive gemstone-infused penis and perfect teeth, but the government just simply cannot let that happen, thus they sent out the satellite to keep him down on our level. Now, perhaps if he did move to another city or state, it could throw the satellite man off his trail for a bit, but the satellite man does seem to have an uncanny ability to find Tony.
There is no statute of limitations of prosecuting these people. But swift justice is necessary against these satellite controllers. They have damaged my teeth. They are stalking me. They've stolen sperm. They've stolen my blood. They're burning blood when they're burning my mouth. They're burning bones. That's 4th degree burns. That is mutilation. That is hate crimes. These people must get prosecuted. Any politician think they outrank me in America? Which person's the largest landowner? Any person that thinks they outrank me, you must go on television and say you think you outrank me. Don't forget, I was born with impeachment status, and I do have legal right to impeach presidents, governors and mayors, police chiefs, and other people, even at their own companies if they're trying to hurt me.
Tony is just spitting absolute facts here. I mean, 4th degree burns? You gotta just lock these people up and throw the key away. In fact, the satellite controllers are extremely lucky that Tony doesn't exert his immense power to bring these people to justice. I mean, he can impeach the president of the United States, for God's sake, which he probably should, because let's be honest here, there is no way these satellite controllers are acting in the manner that they are without the green light from the president.
Make sure you understand, I don't have nothing to hide, motherfucker. These are my real teeth. And you are trying to make me run around by you burning my mouth and teeth. You're trying to control my life. Then you're trying to say stupid shit. Like, oh, that man on fire looks like he's out of control. What you did to my teeth, man. Look at those black marks. Those are laser marks on the teeth. Laser burns. Laser burns. And my dentist needs to go on television and state the facts that those are laser burns on the teeth. Or he can get arrested if he does not go on television to say that those are laser burns from satellite and government people doing that to my teeth.
Those sure do look like laser burns to me, alright. I mean, his teeth are black, rotted, and honestly squishy looking. Having teeth like that just has to be awful. Like, I imagine it hurts a lot, and it would have to taste bad too, right? I mean, you have rotting bone, probably exposed nerves in your mouth, and his gums can't be any healthier. So, I mean, this is just rough. There is a little bit more to this video, but I think we got the point across that his teeth are in very bad shape. Unlike Cobra, I don't entirely think that Tony's teeth are due to negligence. I do believe that hard drugs are the biggest culprit at play here. He does also mention tobacco use, but the fact that it is just his front few teeth that seem to be taking the brunt of the abuse, I really don't know what else it could be if not hard drugs, or the satellite man, of course. The next example I want to discuss is none other than Cyrax. Now, unlike the first two, Cyrax's teeth are a bit of a smaller topic in the Raxverse, as there are several other more pressing matters with him, like sending explicit photos to what he believes to be minors and just having general freakouts all the time. But don't get it twisted, Cyrax has some of the worst teeth I have ever seen. I mean, check this out.
I never asked
Hey,
her
Tony. Hey,
because
Tony.
you know why?
Hey, Tony.
I was
Hey,
brought up
Tony.
the old
Tony.
fashioned way. And my grandma
Tony.
and my
Hey,
grandpa
Tony, shut up.
told me,
Ew, dude, why did he do that? I also just couldn't help but notice that his gum is almost completely covering his one tooth. I don't even know how that is possible. I know that your gums can get swollen if you have something stuck in your teeth, but I've never seen it that bad, at least in my experience. The only other reason I can think of that this would happen would be because his tooth didn't grow in correctly or something. I'm not really sure though. His teeth did grow in like an absolute mess. This boy badly needed some braces when he was younger, but never got them obviously. So I'm not going to rag on him too much for the teeth being all crooked because he can't really control that. But what he can control is the thick layer of plaque that was plastered on those teeth we seen in the close-up. Hygiene is not a strong suit for Cyrax whatsoever, with him being quite possibly the least hygienic Lolcow in general. And yes, I do put him over people like Andy Ditch, who literally play with their own feces on a regular basis, because Cyrax is so consistently disgusting that he has gotten multiple infections and diseases from not bathing himself, along with bedbug bites and rat bites. Plus, he's probably cool with feces as well, as there is at least one example of Cyrax cleaning his stylus pen off with his mouth right after the stylus was inside of him, let's say. Anyway though, back to his teeth. It's no surprise that he never brushes his teeth, but he also does consume a lot of sugar along with coffee, which is also bad for your teeth, so he's really not doing himself any favors. But when he does decide to do some oral maintenance, like picking something out of his teeth, he does it in a really odd and probably damaging way. Take a look.
But you know, one thing I learned in all this, never let what motherfuckers say about you that ain't true get to your head. Sorry about that.
I had never actually seen that clip until I was looking around to see if there were any good shots of Cyrax's teeth, and I thought it was incredibly funny. But I feel like that would hurt, to shove a fork in between your teeth or whatever he did there. It's things like this that make people refer to Cyrax as a goblin, but I do want to give Cyrax a little bit of a bone here, and that is because he doesn't do anything like smoking cigarettes or using hard drugs. I know the drugs may seem like a bit of a surprise based on his behavior, but he is entirely clean besides the depressant drugs that his grandma will sometimes put in his food to calm him down a bit, so at least he has that going for him. But nonetheless, Cyrax does not beat the Lolcow having bad teeth allegations. The next few Lolcows we will discuss don't have much information about their teeth directly, but it can still be seen that the teeth they have are not great. Up first will be Daniel Larsson. He's actually kind of known for having several teeth missing, leaving him with a sort of rat-like look with his teeth that can be seen here.
Oh, so I was just given a pill to get rid of these scabies all over me. It was nice knowing you, friends. Now you're all dead. Nice knowing ya. Goodbye.
Happy Pride, everyone! Suck it!
As you may have surmised by the clip of him kissing his scabies goodbye after being given a pill, hygiene isn't something that Daniel keeps up on very much, and at the time it was not helped by the fact that Daniel was homeless and rampaging across the United States, so he didn't really have a place to keep up with his hygiene in any way. I'm not exactly sure when he lost his teeth, but I'm gonna guess it was due to negligence rather than some fight he got into or something, because until he got arrested for threatening to blow up the White House, Daniel was basically immune to the consequences of his actions when it came to other people, as there are several instances that he could have been beaten up for doing all kinds of things, but he just never was for some reason. I suppose it is entirely possible that Daniel knocked his own teeth out, as he would regularly have freakouts where he would hit himself repeatedly, but I can't confirm nor deny if that is the case, but what I can confirm is that he is on the list of bad teeth. Jason Blaha quite possibly has the best teeth out of everyone that we have discussed so far, which isn't really saying much, but at least it can be said that the bulk of his problems with his teeth seem to be that they're just not that straight, which, like Cyrax, I'm not going to blame him too much for, but it is a problem that I feel that Jason should have had fixed a long time ago, and he does discuss doing just that in an impromptu interview that was done a few years back.
Alright, and another thing people want to know is, like, do you have two teeth? Let's see it.
The teeth are really fucked up after living in the UK. They're dental there.
Let's see a smile one more time.
I'm probably eventually going to get the rest of them.
Yeah.
That probably cost me about $10 grand.
Jesus.
I think in the long term it'll be worth it.
Probably.
Especially if I'm on camera all the time. I'm just going to have all implants done.
Yeah, they get on your ass about that a lot.
I had a friend who did that. She got it done because her teeth were really fucked up due to an issue while she was in the womb. And in her 30s, she got everything pulled and implants done, and it was actually really, really, really awesome when it was finished. So I'll probably look into doing that eventually.
All right.
The audio is pretty garbage in that clip. I'll try to fix it up a little bit, but I find it extremely funny that Jason blames his bad teeth on living in the UK for a while, as if just simply being in the UK was enough to turn the teeth of an already grown man crooked and rotting. I mean, everyone knows that you have to be born in the UK to blame your teeth on the UK dental system, which Jason was not. He was born in Texas. As I said, the interview clip was several years ago, and today his teeth are not much better. They haven't seemed to have gotten any worse though, so maybe he's taken up the hobby of teeth brushing since then, but who knows. Even still, however, he still serves as another example of bad teeth. For the final Lolcow of the video, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Chris Chan. Here again, Chris's teeth aren't as obviously disgusting as many other Lolcows, but through a combination of horrid hygiene, Chan is known for having a distinct odor that permeates from wherever this pile of filth drags himself to, and also a horrible diet, almost entirely sugar. Chris's teeth have suffered significantly. He has several cavities that have been caused by not brushing his teeth, and also lots of soda. It is a bit difficult to see due to the video quality, but you can see the fillings in his molars in this clip here. As much as I despise Chris Chan as a person, clips like this are just really funny. He did this to show off his fangs, as he calls them, to someone named Vivian, who despite being warned by Chris, went on to commit a terrible deed. So to show his wrath, he destroys a sign and then shows his fangs. Here's the sign destruction.
This is for Clyde Cash too. Every last one of his family members, including his
God, if Chris didn't violate his mother and only get a slap on the wrist for it, along with falsely claiming to be Jesus all the time, he would probably be my favorite Lolcow. But anyway, back to his teeth. It is no surprise that Chris has bad teeth, as he's never had the ability to be responsible for anything. But with only excessive sugar intake being his main damaging activity, his teeth on the surface will appear to be in a bit better shape, even though they are still quite stained and gross. So that will do it for this rather gross deep dive into this Lolcow trait. I'm not some psychiatrist or any medical professional, so I'm not going to try to make any grand point about all of these people. All I'm doing with this trait of bad teeth and all the other traits I'll make videos on in the future is to point out some consistent things among Lolcows. I'm sure there are plenty more examples of Lolcows that have bad teeth, and maybe some that have perfect teeth. I just find it interesting that it's a feature that props up so often with so many different people who are considered Lolcows. I do believe that bad teeth, especially in these cases, are a sort of byproduct of poor hygiene in general, which is obviously a trait that many Lolcows possess. But by all means, let me know what you think. Why do so many Lolcows have bad teeth or just bad hygiene in general? I have several more ideas for videos that should be coming in the near future, but by all means, if you have another trait or Lolcow moment that you want me to take a look at, let me know in the comments as well. But with all that said, I hope you have a blessed day, and peace out.